Week 5 of the NFL is in the books, and I got some reactions last week. This week I went 7-7, putting my current record at 46-32. And we started week 5 with a Falcons win over the Bucs on Thursday Night Football, 36-30, and the Falcons able to clinch first place in the division for now, because regardless if the Saints would have beaten the Chiefs or not, they would have been in first place via tiebreaker. And yeah, it looks like the Falcons offense finally hit their groove. They've really been struggling to do that this year, but this was the first game where you really saw the potential. Kirk Cousins having over 500 passing yards, Drake London having a really good game. Bijan not too great, but I mean, they were just throwing the ball a whole lot. You know, Drake London had a good game. Darnell Mooney had a good game. KhaDarel Hodge had I think he had one reception, but it was the last reception of the game because Kirk had a long touchdown in overtime to end the game. Anyways, I digress. Falcons, that's a good win. As for the Bucs, yeah, that was bad defense. This is really bad defense. Todd Bowles has such a weird habit of doing this. He's, in my opinion, a great defensive mind, but he always has those random games every year where you just look at this team and you're like, what the hell? Like, this team's defense sucks. I don't think their defense sucks. I just think just a really bad game. And I mean that, you know, Todd Bowles is just like that. He's an inconsistent play caller. Like, they always have inconsistent quarterbacks, but he's an inconsistent play caller. I think this was a prime example of that, and I think that's going to keep the Bucs, it's going to handicap them moving forward, if I'm being honest. Our Sunday morning game, our London game, Vikings and Jets, was played, and the Vikings able to get their 5th consecutive victory. And congratulations, Vikings, you're 5-0. No one expected you guys to be 5-0. And you are, and it's not the prettiest 5-0, but 5-0 is 5-0. And Sam Darnold definitely struggled in the second half of this game, but when your defense is able to pick off a future Hall of Fame quarterback 3 times, one of them being a pick 6, usually that's going to be enough to win the game, and that was definitely the case in this game. So Vikings, your defense is elite, and it might be the best in the league. Offense, as long as they don't mess things up too much, they should be a dangerous team moving forward. As for the Jets, here's what I don't understand. You brought in Aaron Rodgers to win these types of close games because the Jets had a chance to win, and he didn't do it. Like, you brought him in for no fucking reason. Like, I feel like no matter who the quarterback of this team is, you know, they're gonna be hindered by the play calling. And I know actually it was today they fired Robert Saleh, but it's like, I really don't think it's going to do anything. I mean, I don't think he was a great head coach, but I really, as long as Nathaniel Hackett is the Jets offensive coordinator, they are going to struggle. And I mean, I know this better than most people because I'm a Broncos fan. He was our head coach. Dude, that guy fucking sucked. He literally was one of the worst play callers. He didn't know anything about football. So Jets, as long as you have that guy on your team, you guys are not going anywhere. I'm telling you right now. Moving on to our first 1 o'clock game, we got the Bears beating the Panthers 36-10. And Bears, this is one of the first games where Caleb Williams actually looked really, really good. He showed some flashes, you know, in some other games, but this was the first game where he was able to play at a high level consistently. So, you know, finally, you know, he had a solid game. And I mean, it's not a great team they played, but a win's a win. They're 3-2. I mean, they're technically last place in their division, but that just says more about the NFC North than the Bears. I think the Bears, you know, if they're lucky, they could make the playoffs this year. As for the Panthers, I mean, I think with or without Bryce Young, you probably would have lost this game anyway, just because it's a team with a first overall pick, like a worthy first overall pick. No offense to Bryce Young, but I mean, it's true. And, you know, I mean, the Panthers, regardless who's at quarterback, I mean, it's not a good roster, and I mean, you can't really be too surprised that they lost this game. But I mean, you just have to accept the fact that you're a rebuilding team, and things like this are inevitable. I mean, you just have to try and be more competitive in your next game, I suppose. Moving on, we got the 4-1 Commanders able to get their 4th victory this week, their 4th consecutive victory. And honestly, they didn't look that great in the first quarter of this game, but Jaden Daniels, he's him. Like, he has been so good ever since he was drafted by the Commanders. He has just been, like RG3 was his rookie season. As long as, he doesn't let them, ruin his career by having him play injured and things like that. I think he's going to have a great career. And I mean, if you're a Commanders fan, if you exist, feel good about this. I mean, no one expected you guys to be 4-1. And you definitely, it's something to be proud about. I mean, it's great for you guys. It's great for Washington, D.C., and no more Dan Snyder on the Commanders either. So it's not like I really can hate this team. Like, they're a likable team, and I, wish the best for them moving forward. They could win the NFC East, honestly. As for the Browns, I mean, like, you guys are not in a good situation. You have Deshaun Watson at quarterback who, has his off-field shit that he has, and plus he's not a good quarterback either. I mean, he is like one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the league. He might be the worst starting quarterback in the league, if I'm being honest. I'm not going to get into that right now, but like, you might as well start Jameis Winston, because you don't, like, I don't understand where you're going to get with Deshaun Watson. And I mean, Jameis Winston's not like amazing, but he's a hell of a lot better than Deshaun Watson at this current stage of his career. And I think, because I mean, I understand your defense struggling, because I mean, the Commanders have a solid offense, but your offense needs to put up some sort of fight, and they just didn't do that. Moving on, we got an AFC East matchup between the Dolphins and Patriots. Dolphins finally getting their second win, 15-10. And I mean, it wasn't pretty, but it always feels good to have a win, especially when your team is in as much of a funk as the Dolphins are right now. I mean, they're still not a good team, but I mean, I do think, it feels good to get a win every once in a while, even if you are, not a great team. And as for the Patriots, I mean, I was kind of surprised you lost this game. I mean, you guys, I thought for sure after having that blocked kick at some point, it was the second quarter, third quarter, I don't remember, but, when you have something like that happen, and I mean, it's not like your defense played awful. It was really the fourth quarter you guys kind of messed everything up, because you guys were winning until you got to the fourth quarter. So, just not a good game by the Patriots. I mean, they're not a good team either. I don't think anyone really cared about this game besides like Dolphins and Patriots fans. But, you can't, just a badly coached game by the Patriots. I don't really know what to say, because there's not any like real major takeaways here. I mean, maybe start Drake May if you want to. I guess, like, now it's like you have nothing to lose. Not that you had anything to lose at the beginning of the season, but it's more evident as he keeps playing that, you're not going to get anywhere. But yeah, I don't think anyone really cares about this game. Moving on, we got the Jags getting their 10th straight victory in Duval over the Colts, winning 37-34. And, it looked a little shaky in the fourth quarter, Jags. I'm not going to lie. You really, really shouldn't have made this a game. But, you won the game, so I can't complain too much. You got your first victory, so there's no more teams without a victory. So congratulations, Jags, on your first win. Trevor Lawrence actually looked really good in this game, and so did Brian Thomas Jr. Tank Bigsby randomly was really good too. I guess Travis Etienne was banged up or something. So Jags, congratulations. As for the Colts, Honestly, I'm not too surprised you lost this game. I mean, your defense sucked. Like, I know you guys don't have a great defense, but yeah, this was bad. And I kind of expected it to be bad just because you're playing in Duval, and for some reason the Colts forget how to play football in that stadium. But I mean, regardless, I mean, this is still not a good game by the Colts defense. And even their offense didn't really do anything until the fourth quarter. And that was probably more just the Jags not doing much themselves on defense in the fourth quarter. I mean, Joe Flacco definitely didn't play like that bad when you look at the final game. But I mean, the fact that it took until the fourth quarter, it's still not, great. And, Jonathan Taylor was out in this game too, so, I mean, even if you are a pessimistic Colts fan, I mean, you can't be that surprised that you lost this game. I mean, a healthy Colts team might have won. I don't think what's weird about that, though, is Anthony Richardson's honestly worse than Joe Flacco, so I feel like, unless Jonathan Taylor was playing alongside Joe Flacco, that's the only way I would see a different result in this game. Moving on, we got the Stefon Diggs, Josh Allen revenge game, and Stefon got his revenge as the Texans won 23-20, and the offense through the first half looked dominant. And a big reason for that is because of Nico Collins. And, Nico Collins unfortunately suffered an injury. We won't even know if he's going to play next week. And I think once he exited the game, the Texans' offense struggled a little bit, but they were playing against the Bills team that didn't play very good, so it worked out for them because they were able to get their fourth win, and they're currently the 2 seed in the AFC, and if the Chiefs lose, they might be bumped up to the 1 seed. I'm not sure how that would work. As for the Bills, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of surprised this was even a game. I mean, looking at the stats, Josh Allen was horrendous. Like, I usually don't say that because Josh Allen's a phenomenal quarterback, but geez, he went 9 for 30. That's bad. That's like, I think the last time someone did that, I saw something that was like 30 years ago or something crazy like that. It's like, I mean, at the end of the game when they were throwing the ball nonstop, they threw the ball 3 straight times, backed up way inside their end zone. And they passed 3 straight times, which gave the Texans enough time to go and kick a game-winning field goal. That was horrible coaching. And I mean, honestly, I get why they did it because I feel like the Bills always have really bad luck in overtime, but you can't do that. You gotta work with logic. You can't just, assume Josh Allen will solve all their problems. And that's just what they thought he would do, despite how bad he played in this game. And that's why they lost. But, I mean, it's not too bad of a loss. I think they'll be fine moving forward. All right, moving on. We got a fun one. The Ravens beat the Bengals 41-38. And honestly, Ravens, you were lucky. You were very lucky that you didn't lose this game because you guys were down in the fourth quarter by, I believe it was like 10 points or something like that. You guys fought back, so credit to you for that. But then when you got to overtime, Lamar had a fumble, which I thought for sure would cost the Ravens the game, but it didn't as they were able to get the ball back. And then Derrick Henry put the team on his back, and then the Ravens were able to kick a game-winning field goal. So congratulations to them. And your defense couldn't stop a nosebleed, but when your offense is as efficient as you are, usually you're going to win. And as for the Bengals, you guys, man, this is not good. I mean, you're 1-4, and you realistically should be 3-4, 3-2, if I'm being honest. There's 2 winnable games that I think of that you guys just pissed away. You definitely could have won that Chiefs game, and you definitely could have won this game. You had Joe Burrow have basically a career game. And I mean, Lamar had a good game too, but I mean, Joe Burrow honestly had a better game in my opinion. It's you have the ball in overtime and you don't give Joe Burrow the ball. You run the ball 3 straight times, assuming a 50-plus yard field goal is a guaranteed make. And it wasn't, because they bobbled the snap and missed the kick, allowing the Ravens to win the game themselves. So, I mean, Zach Taylor, that's pretty bad, but the Bengals defense is also really bad too. I mean, there's just two games. There were two games this year so far where the Bengals defense just flat out lost them the game. There was that Bengals and Commanders game, and then there was this game. And I mean, you just got to be frustrated if you're a Bengals fan. I mean, because Joe Burrow's unbelievable, but you're not going to get anywhere with a defense like that and the play calling. All right, our first 4 o'clock game, we got the Denver Broncos beating the Raiders 34-18. And this was the 3rd straight victory for the Broncos, and I most definitely did not expect this. And this is the first time the Broncos beat the Raiders since 2019, so obviously as a Broncos fan, I'm happy about this. And I mean, it didn't start off good. I mean, we were down 10-0, and I thought for sure we were going to lose, but we were able to fight all the way back and score 34 unanswered before the Raiders were able to get garbage time 8 points. So, you know, great game on both sides of the ball. We had a pick 6. I think we had like 3 or 4 turnovers in this game. We were unbelievable on defense. And, you know, this was a great game. Bo Nix was so efficient. He had 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, no turnovers. So this is the first game where he truly looked like, you know, a good quarterback. So this was good to see from him. And I mean, as it stands right now, we're either the 5 or 6 seed. I mean, I know it's really early, but, you know, definitely happy with this. As for the Raiders, I mean, yeah, this is not good. I mean, they benched Gardner Minshew in the 3rd quarter because he threw 2 picks, but I mean, Aiden O'Connell didn't really do anything either. You know, you just, I guess, finally got what was coming to you from the Broncos, because I guess they were pissed off enough to drop 34 on you. And that's rare, because they usually don't score 30 points unless it's a special occasion. I mean, I think this is the first time, you know, we've scored 34 points in like forever. Like, I feel like we only score like 20-something points. So scoring 30, it just really meant a lot to us Broncos fans. All right, our next game is another West game. It's going to be in the NFC West. You got the Cardinals beating the 49ers 24-23. And, I mean, as for the Cardinals, I mean, they're rebuilding, but they will most certainly be competitive in certain games. And this was one of those games, you know. Kyler Murray had a couple of phenomenal plays in this game, and the 49ers just didn't have any answers for it, which was a little surprising, but, you know, congratulations to the Cardinals. I mean, this is definitely one of those victories that can really change the perspective of your season. I mean, I still don't think they're going to like make the playoffs or anything, but I definitely think they will be competitive moving forward. And I mean, this is the Cardinals team I expected, just because, you know, you're not going to win a lot, but when you do, you know, you're going to fight, and they most certainly did in this game. They fought back down from 13 and able to win against a hated division rival, and a very good division rival at that. As for the 49ers, I don't know how you lost this game. You were up 13 at halftime against a rebuilding Cardinals team, and you lost. And I mean, I know you're injured. I know your kicker got injured in this game, and I know like shit happens, but you know, good teams find ways to win, and you didn't. You couldn't do it. You lost to a pretty bad team. I mean, I said the Cardinals are, you know, going to be competitive, but they're still not a good team. I mean, you couldn't beat a division rival that you have basically dominated these past few years. And this is concerning. I mean, I don't know how you can, you know, I don't know how you can go into next week and be like, oh yeah, no, we're fine. We're not going to lose next week to the Seahawks. Like, the Seahawks are better than the Cardinals, and you're on the road too. So it's like, you know, I mean, you can give me the injury excuse, but I feel like this really shows that the 49ers are not as good as other people thought. All right, our next game got cut off a little bit. We got the Giants beating the Seahawks. This was definitely surprising. The Giants, they were actually pretty efficient on offense for most of the game. They kind of got shut down in the final quarter, but they got lucky enough because the Seahawks were able to make it within a 3-point game. And then they were going to kick a game-tying field goal, but then this happened where the kick got blocked by Isaiah Simmons, and he absolutely bulldozed the kicker, and he picked the ball up and ran it back for a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. And that basically put the game out of reach because that made it a 2-score game. The Giants able to get a victory there. So congratulations to the Giants for a victory. And I mean, your defense can kind of do things sometimes. In your offense, if they can be more consistent, they could be a decent-ish team. And as for the Seahawks, I mean, I said you guys were not as good as some people said, but this game really raises some red flags. I mean, you couldn't beat the Giants. And I mean, last game, I understand it was the Lions and you were injured, but this game, it's Daniel Jones and the Giants. They didn't even have Malik Neighbors either. How do you lose this game? This is a very, very winnable game. You even had, a fumble recovery for a touchdown go your way, and you still couldn't win this game. This is not good for you guys. And I don't see this team really doing much. They might make the playoffs, but I really don't see them doing much when they get there. Moving on, we got the Packers beating the Rams 24-19, and Jordan Love got his first victory this year. And congratulations to the Packers for winning this game. It wasn't pretty. There were definitely some plays that the Packers would like to have back, but the point is they got the victory, and you'll always take a victory, and that they got. And I mean, Jordan Love definitely was still working off some of the rust, but he's still pretty young. I mean, he'll figure it out and be better as the season goes along. So, you're 3-2, and your division is unbelievably tough. So you definitely needed to win this game to remain pace. And as for the Rams, I mean, we got to talk about Stafford. I mean, he looked bad in this game. He looked atrocious. And I mean, I know the Rams are injured. I know that's a lot of excuses for a lot of teams. I know Cooper Kupp is injured. Puka Nacua is injured. So you don't really have a lot of people to throw the ball to. But it's Stafford still didn't play good. There were some throws that he attempted that he never should have attempted. And I mean, I think what we've learned from this game is if you can stop Kyren Williams, you can stop the Rams, because they're not, he's really their only good player on the offense who's healthy, because Stafford's not that good. I mean, he just needs good wide receivers, and his 2 wide receivers that are, on the team are not playing due to injury. So they need him back. And I mean, I don't know how much longer the Rams can keep, surviving like this. I think they're a playoff team, but it's you're 1-4 and you're tied for the worst record in the NFL. You got to do something here. And I mean, you can't just wait for your guys to get healthy. You got to actually figure some shit out if you're going to make the playoffs this season. All right, our Sunday night game and our Monday morning game too, because this game didn't start until 10 p.m. The Cowboys beat the Steelers 20-17, and the Cowboys able to win despite throwing 2 picks and almost having a game-losing turnover on their last drive of the game. And, like I say, I mean, a win's a win. This was not a pretty win by any means, but you got the job done, and you definitely needed to, because they would have had a worse record than the Eagles if they lost this game, and they would have been tied for last with the Giants if they lost. And the Commanders are still really good, so definitely important they got to win, no matter how ugly it is. As for the Steelers, I mean, you guys started 3-0, and then you lost 2 in a row. And I mean, I was kind of surprised you lost this game. When I saw how the flow of the game was going, I was expecting you guys to win. I mean, these are the types of games I expect you guys to win. And you just couldn't get it done. I don't know what happened. I guess you guys just ran out of gas or something, because This is usually, they would get that fumble recovery at the end of the game where the Cowboys almost messed up and fumbled, and they would win like that because that's just how the Steelers are, but they couldn't get it done. And I think what that truly showed us is like the way of them winning is not sustainable. And I mean, we kind of already knew that, but it's like it might not even be sustainable for them to make the playoffs this season. I mean, I still think they could, but they need to play cleaner football if they want to win this game. And I mean, this is just an ugly game on both sides of, the ball. I mean, the Cowboys didn't play that good, but at least they got the win. And the Steelers, I mean, you just got to figure something out with Justin Fields and their offense because they're selling. All right, our final game we'll talk about is the Chiefs and the Saints. Chiefs improving to 5-0, winning this game 26-13. And I mean, Mahomes definitely didn't play great. I mean, he had a pick, and that pick actually almost got returned for a touchdown too. But, the Chiefs keep finding ways to win, and they had like over 400 something yards. They had a lot of, offensive yards. And one thing I did like for the Chiefs in this game is Kareem Hunt actually looked really good in this game. And I think he'll be a solid replacement for Pacheco until Pacheco comes back from injury. So, it's not pretty, but, no win is that pretty in the NFL. And the Chiefs got it done. And as for the Saints, I mean, realistically, you can't say you were surprised that you lost this game. I mean, I didn't think you're going to win just because the Saints are just not, built to beat teams like the Chiefs. They're built to beat, bad teams, but they can't really beat good teams. And ever since they started 2-0, Derek Carr has looked really bad. Like, he is not even looking starting caliber pretty much. I don't know what is up with him, but until he starts playing better, the Saints aren't going to do shit this year. And it's going to do it for this. It's going to do it for my reactions and takeaways. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys on Thursday for my Week 6 NFL predictions. Can't believe we're already to Week 6, but we are. And I will see you guys there for that video.